It's hard to believe that 20 years ago, 8 families gathered in the living room of Nolan Rollins' home to talk about the possibility of working together to launch a new church. And it's amazing to reflect back on how that discussion led to praying and planning and more praying, to preparing, to more praying, and to finally taking the step of faith to start what we now know as Summit Church. And it's been an incredible ride and an amazing journey. We've experienced hardships, crisis of beliefs, miracles, glorious mountaintop experiences, as well as low valleys. And yet through it all, God has been so faithful. He's proven his trustworthiness. He has shown us his great power, and he's put his heart on display by saving the lost and by caring for the found. And from the early days of meeting on the campus of Florida Gulf Coast University to the huge step to begin the process of building our first permanent facility, to the launching of our Naples campus and then our Gateway campus, God has led, he's provided, and he has shown us his unmatched power throughout. We truly wanted to be a part of God's redemptive mission. We wanted to be a launching pad for ministry. We wanted to be so involved in the transformation of our community that if we ceased to exist, our community would actually miss us. We wanted to be a church who lived with open hands and had hearts of extreme generosity, wanting to share our resources locally, nationally, and internationally for the sake of God's gospel and his redemptive mission. He's given us the opportunity to launch several new churches, send out missionaries, partner with mission organizations, and join him in the work of the gospel literally all around the world. In 20 years, millions of dollars have been given to the work of global evangelization, humanitarian relief efforts, to the care of vulnerable children and people, and so much more. And yet, right here, God has also consistently put his glory on display by drawing many people out of darkness into his marvelous light, by healing broken marriages, bringing freedom to countless people bound up by different addictions and hurts. He has risen up countless leaders, and it's extended both our influence in and our reach to our community. God has been so good. Summit, thank you for your partnership and your faithfulness. We know God is at work, and we know that great things are still yet to come.
Our first service actually was at Grandeza Country Club in a little club room with about 40 people or something, including kids, but moved quickly over to FGCU. The first aha when we were like, oh my goodness, what is God doing, is when we met with the Price Foundation and Mr. Miller and his wife Mavis, and we shared the vision with them. And at the end of the lunch, he said, well, it looks like we have a deal. And we literally looked at each other and we're like, well, we don't have any money. We don't know what kind of deal you're talking about. And he said, well, we're gonna give you the property. And we just were floored, like blown away. We're like, wow, God's doing something, significant that we could never have imagined.
There's big moments, but then there are also so many little moments, not only in the life of the church, but in our own lives, in our marriage and with our children and the adoption. And you have all of these things that happen, but then when you get to the end of it, you look back and you're like, it is just amazing to see that tapestry of what the Lord has done. And all these little things, you look back and it's like, oh, God's done great things.
I was born and raised Catholic, and so I never had I had an understanding of who Jesus was, but I never had a relationship with him. And when I moved down here, I got invited to Ignite about halfway through my first semester at FGCU by a friend, and I went, and I was blown away, really, that there was 200 to 300 other college students at Ignite that were worshiping, their hands were up, and I was like, man, I want what they have. We graduated from FGCU, we kind of take a step out of Ignite, and then all of a sudden we're faced with, okay, what comes next after Ignite? We get married, which was amazing. We've been married for almost 3.5 years now. And really what came next was community groups. We went to Stephen with that, and he put us with two amazing couples, the Wemples and the Vales. And so the three of us have led a community group for the past 2 years. And all of a sudden, this big Summit Church went to this small and intimate family.
About the mission of Summit, I've learned that it's not about programs. We have so much going on, which I love. We have so many ministries, so many opportunities to increase your faith, to build relationships, to serve. But I've realized that Summit really believes in their mission and helps our staff to live it out and helps our people to live it out. Everything that we do goes back to that mission, which is the mission of God, to make disciples that represent the gospel to every man, woman, and child, because we know that's what changes lives.
God really has been faithful, and that faithfulness fuels our belief and confidence that He'll not only continue to do great things, but that He will do even more than we would ever know to ask or imagine. This is the story He has written and will continue to write as He draws men, women, and children to Himself, as He renews communities, restores relationships, protects the vulnerable, and provides for those with spiritual and physical needs. He's a good Father, a trustworthy shepherd, a wonderful Savior, and we get to be loved by Him. Just imagine all that He will do in the years ahead, the people He'll save, the churches that'll be planted in our community, state, and world, the vulnerable children brought into foster and adoptive homes, the lives and families on the brink of destruction that'll be healed through our recovery ministry, the countless individuals ministered to through our counseling department, the students equipped to bring the presence of Jesus into their schools, the young leaders that'll be discipled and launched out into every part of the world, and so much more. For those that have been with us over the years, thank you. You've served, given, and cared for others so well. We celebrate God's faithfulness in and through you, and we rejoice in knowing that He who began a good work in Summit and in you will most certainly bring it to completion. Summit family, it has been a great 20 years. And for however long the Lord gives us breath and enables us to worship Him and serve this community, let's be diligent to look to Jesus, to go where He leads, to anticipate the miraculous, and lift high His name so that every man, woman, and child in Southwest Florida and beyond can have repeated opportunities to hear, see, respond to, and be changed by the glorious good news of Jesus. Not to us, O Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory because of your love and faithfulness.